Hey craft family, it's me. How are we doing today? So before I get started doing anything, which I don't know how much of what I'm going to get done today, I just thought I'd make a video really quick since I had a little bit of time. The two winners that I picked for the earrings in the last, was it the last video or the video before last? I don't remember. For the paper earrings are Donna Day and Tony Palos. So Donna and I have already exchanged an email with her address and such, but I haven't heard from Tony Palos yet. So if you're watching, Tony, please shoot me an email at pinkpoodlecrafts@gmail.com with your address. I emailed you at the email address you provided in your comments, but I'm not sure if you got it yet. But anyway, also, there are people that didn't even know that that contest happened because I didn't announce it in the title, and if you didn't watch to the very end, you wouldn't have heard about it. So just keep in mind that I may do that from time to time, so it might be in your best interest to watch the entire video, because sometimes there might be a special surprise. You never know. I'm crazy like that. So anyway, I printed out some images. And when you use cream cardstock, it makes them look a little bit more vintagey, or it just gives them a little bit nicer color, so you can do that. And I've had some cream cardstock for a while, and finally dug it out and made some images. So I just thought I'd show you real quick. That one's like my favorite. So anyway, there's that. And then my friend Desiree came over on Sunday, and she worked on making cards, and I worked on this. And then she also showed me how to use my sewing machine. So that's set up now. It's actually out on my dining room table because I don't have any room in here for it. But I put sparkle on the peacock tail, or the feathers, and I just covered one of those journals that you can get. It's like a mixed media, and I did did a mess around page in it because I was just screwing around. So I just covered it with fabric with glue, and then put these little corners on the picture, and it says cherish there. And then I made this little closure with some seam binding that I can undo it if it gets thick and I want to change the tension on this. I can do that. And then a little hair tie, and this is actually a brad. You can see there, that's a brad, and I just made the brad a little bit looser so it would kind of fit underneath of it. So that's what I did there. And then also, the very first thing I sewed with my new, well, it's not a new sewing machine. It's new because I've never used it before, and I got it for Christmas years back, and I never used it, but so I guess it's new. I don't know. I made a journal, and I left the edges so they were kind of frayed, like shabby chics, because I like it that way. And I put in 3 signatures. Now, I did sew these signatures in with the sewing machine. And I don't know if I'm going to do that ever again, because I wanted to put 4 signatures in, but the 4th one wasn't happening. It broke my needle twice. So I really had a hard time doing it. So I'm probably just going to make the journal covers with the sewing machine, and probably just do my typical, you know, hand stitch, pamphlet stitch with the 3 holes to put the signatures in, because it was a lot of frustration to try to get even just these 3 signatures in, and they had to be fairly thin, and I like to make them a little more bulky, so it would just be better if I did it the other way. But what I will do is I'll sew some pockets in, like, you know, I'll take the page and put it under the sewing machine and maybe sew some pockets in the pages, which I probably should have done before I put the signatures together, but whatever. And I'll sew pockets in, little things, little embellishments on pages, but to sew through so many layers of pages, it just wasn't a very good idea for me. And I left it soft, and what I did was I took 2 pieces of fabric and, you know, cut them to size, and then just ran around with the sewing machine, just straight stitching. I didn't do anything fancy at all. You know, I just left it flimsy and soft. I could have put a piece of felt between the fabric, which would have made it a little bit stiffer, or, you know, I could have put cardstock in between it, you know, whatever. There's a lot of things you could do to make it stiffer, but I didn't want it stiff. I wanted it like this. So that's my first try. I think for, you know, it has 3 signatures in it. It's perfectly fine. I think it came out great. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. I still haven't done anything to it, embellished it or anything. So there's that. I think that's all I have to show you, really, as far as things I've done. What I wanted to try to do was to make a flip book out of a folder. Now, I seen somebody make a flip book out of a folder, and she did it in a really cool way, but I'm not going to do her way. I'm just going to give something a try and kind of do it my way, because, you know, I'm crazy like that. So let's see. I'm going to try to find the center, which this is such a weird size. It's not 10 3/4 or 11 3/4. It's 11 and something. I don't know. I can't measure. So I'm going to try to find the center. Actually, I'm going to do that here because I want to cut it. So in order to do that, I need a center. So let's see. 11.5 would be here. So it would be 5. It would be right here. Same on this side. So actually, I didn't even need that mark. I don't know why I did that. So I can just use my cutter and line it up to that initial mark that I made, and that would work. And of course they're not the same size because nothing I ever do works. I don't know why I just measured it. That's okay. Doesn't really matter because I can just mark it and fix it. You know what I mean? Because like me and measuring don't get along. Plain and simple. We don't get along. You can't make us. Shoot. I hate when that happens too. There we go. Okay. Now they're the same size. Now we just need to cut here to make this the same size. Okay, so basically, you're just going to cut it vertically, and however you got to do it, you're going to make 2 evenly sized folders, and actually I got to cut that more because I forgot that that was there. Oops, I didn't see it. I was looking at the other side. You got to cut off the little, you don't have to, I mean, if you want to leave the little flappy-doo, cut all the way through. If you want to leave the little flaps, you can, but I'm not interested in leaving the flaps. Okay, so anyway, back to this. You're going to basically come out with 2 identical folders, and we're probably going to have to do some more cutting, but for now we're just going to start with 2 identical folders. Did I mention that this was a flip book? I don't even remember if I mentioned it was a flip book. So now what we're going to do is we are going to score on the either side of this, whatever you call it, seam thing. And I'm just going to line it up to the 8 because it'll be easier. Because what I want to do is I want a score line on either side of the fold line. So that would be your fold line, and I'm going to put a score mark like a what I'm going to do is like a 1/4 inch on either side of the fold. That's going to be what I put. So that it has, and then fold it like so. So it gives it a little spine area in there. Okay? Hopefully you can see that. Maybe you'll see it better on this side. So then it gives it a flat spine area. And it's hard sometimes because there's other score lines on these folders. I don't know what they're for, but you know how like the folders sometimes have score lines next to them, kind of? So it's kind of hard to see on these for you, because I'm trying to avoid confusing you by those other score lines. But basically it's going to look kind of like a, you know, the start of a journal, but it's not a journal, you know, because it's got like a spine now. And basically what I'm trying to do is I'm going to do that on this one, and then I'm going to glue this down like a stacking, what do they call that? A stacking signature or something like that. Stacking something. Stacked spine? I don't remember. But that's basically what I'm going to do. So since I did, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this now. This is like an idea I just popped in my head, and so of course now I'm like having to run with it. I'm like, I have to try that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one in the center of this one, and I'm going to make the score marks that I made smaller. So like on the other one I did 1/4 of an inch on either side. Well, here I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch on either side. So this way it fits into, when I glue it, it'll fit into the thing better. It's hard to fold these because of the So the first one I did 1/4 inch on either side of the fold, and then this one I did 1/8 of an inch on either side of the fold, and it's hard to fold because there's so many little score lines from the manufacturer. Okay, I'm going to burnish them down a little bit. Don't know why they're off kilter a little. Okay. It's so hard to do because of the score lines that the manufacturer puts on either, or like on the side of the fold for whatever reason, I don't even know. So that kind of makes it hard because you're scoring over top of that and you're kind of like doing your own thing. So I apologize if I'm confusing you. I'm not trying to. Alright, so hopefully that'll work, because otherwise I don't know what else to tell you. I'm trying. It's so hard. Why don't you like me? Okay. So since this one has a bigger opening, I'm going to glue this one to this one, which I got all marked up, but that's okay. I'm going to use some tacky glue, and I'm just going to glue it. Actually, you know what? I might use some score tape, since it's... because... that's too big. I'm going to use glue. Why my glue is being weird again. Okay. I'm going to use glue for the sake of the tape not being small enough. And I have 1/8 of an inch tape, but I don't feel like digging it out. And I feel like this would hold a little better anyway. So you want to try to just get the glue exactly where you need it. And then you're just going to line it up on that score line you made in between, like right onto this original fold line, kind of. It's hard to see. cord. It's hard to see in there if I got it straight or not. That's the only problem. Well, we're just gonna hope for the best. Either way, it'll work out. That's what I have to say. Because if it doesn't work out, well, there's always another chance. We can always take another folder and just do it that way. It seems like it's going to be just fine. Just got to give it a few minutes to dry. So I already have somebody I'm probably going to give this to. I'm letting that dry while I chitter chatter. I'm just going to embellish it with some pretty graphics and send it to somebody special. Because I think they'll really like it. I hope you guys like it and give it a try. It's very easy. I mean, I don't know if all you guys have a sewing machine. I can't sew to save my life. So I've got to keep my sewing simple because I don't feel like learning massively complicated things on a sewing machine. I don't have the patience for it anymore. So I want to keep things simple because it's just, I get too frustrated with things if I don't keep it simple. But I do plan on making some little dolls that are like just cheesy. Nothing fancy at all, just kind of a stitched doll. Just little play around things because I'm going to do some painted fabrics and I want to make little things like that. I might even sew like a little bag and try to stick a zipper on it if I can. Like, I'll play and I'll try to figure things out, but I'm not in the mood to do anything like ridiculously complicated. Okay, so this is our book now, sort of. And I think that this part's going to stick up. So that's why I said we might have to cut again. Because as it, see how it's sitting now? Now maybe you could see what I was doing. Sticking the one inside the other and gluing it. I hope that makes sense. So when it's closed now, we've got some paper from the middle piece sticking out. So what I'm going to do is trim that off because I kind of anticipated. Okay. So the camera shut off because, and the only thing I did was trim this. With the camera, what I found out was, come to find out, that all of these point and shoots have a set time that it's going to shut off. And I went through the website and found the information. It did not say why it does it, but it does it. It shuts off the camera when it gets to 4 gigabytes of recorded video. I don't know why it does it. It doesn't say why. It makes no sense, but it does it. My phone only did 10 minutes, so at least this gives me 18 minutes. It'll stop around like 18 minutes and 40 seconds. That's around when it gets to the 4 gigabyte of memory use. So that's just how it is. So there's nothing I could do about that, unfortunately. But at least it's not every 9 minutes and 50 seconds, which is how long I would go before I would, you know, shut it off and turn it back on. And that's all I have to do is just hit the button and then hit the button again, and it'll just start recording again, and you know, it's fine. So I don't know, these camera manufacturers need to do something about that, because as more and more people are doing videos like this or they're vlogging, I don't see how that's helpful to anybody for them to have it shut off like that. And I never found a reason why. So if any of you know a reason why, but it's most point and shoot cameras, whether it's a Canon or a Sony or, you know, whatever, they all do this. Come to find out, they all do it. Unless you have like a very, very expensive camera, which I refuse to have right now anyway. But regardless, like I said, this one is way better than using my phone, which would drain its battery very quickly, and it gave me all kinds of problems shooting. It wouldn't record. So any way you look at it, this is a much better deal. And plus I love the way this one sounds. You can hear my voice much clearer. So that's always good. Anyway, back to this. So now we've got our little flip book, start to our flip book. And it's basically like a mini journal almost. And people do make journals using this style of binding. It's called like a stacked binding, I think. You can look it up. But I think it's called a stacked binding. So I'm just going to use that as the base of a flip book. So here we're starting with the flip book. Now from here, you can choose to paint it or, you know, do whatever you want. Now I've got there's always some of that stamping in here. So what I might do is go around and gesso the entire thing. I probably should have done it before I glued it, but it's fine. It's totally fine. Doesn't matter. I can gesso it, and I'll gesso it, and then I will finish gessoing it off camera, but I'll start on camera. Actually, I need my stick to mix. Make sure my gesso is fully mixed because it is my homemade gesso and that needs to be mixed just about every time you use it, just because stuff settles. So I'm just going to put gesso on it, and then I'll decide after that exactly how I'm going to go about what style I'm going to make it, if I'm going to make it vintage or cutesy or shabby chic or what have you. This is my first flip book, by the way. I've never made one before, but I kept getting requests of people asking me to do a flip book and to do a tutorial. So I'm doing a tutorial on something I know nothing about. Isn't that fun? Exciting. Who the hell am I to make a tutorial on something? I have no idea. Basically, I'm just doing it and you're watching me learn how to do it. So I don't think it's really a tutorial. But from what I've gathered, you can basically make them out of anything. They don't have to be this certain size. They don't have to be any certain width, unless you're swapping. And like, I've seen swaps where they say do it a specific way. Like, we're doing a flip book swap and your flip book must be, you know, this, you know, 6 inches by 4 inches, and it must have this many flips in it, and it must be this or that. So unless you're doing that, you can pretty much do anything. So I gessoed this, I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna gesso the rest of it and I'll come back. So I'll be back in a few moments. Okay, gesso is on, and now I'm going to paint it, but I'm gonna put paper on it. So what I'm gonna do is just paint the edges so that when I put the paper on it, you know, whatever, like, you know, I'm not going to put the paper all the way to the edges, so I want to paint the edges. So I'm going to start, and I'll do some of it, and then I'll stop the camera to do the rest. If I can find a brush, that would be helpful. So I'm going to use this, it's more of that Target paint, and it's called Deep Sea. Also, I want to talk to you about something else. I have recently started a GoFundMe account to help in assisting me to get the rest of my house taken care of so that I can sell it. Because I am so financially strapped for just my basic bills, I'm finding it extremely difficult to put money aside to, you know, go towards my repairs that need to be done, which it's not that much. I mean, it's about maximum like $2,500 worth of stuff that needs to be done. So I've had a couple of friends approach me and say, you know, that would probably be the best way to go. And I ignored it for a while, thinking that maybe things would get a little better, but they're just not. And it's, you know, the thing with the house is if it doesn't sell in the spring, early summer, you know, it's going to sit on the market longer because people are there when their kids are getting out of school. That's when people are looking to buy houses. The realtor has told me that, and he's, you know, really wanting me to get it up for sale soon to avoid it sitting on the market. And I agree. I know that it needs to, you know, be up on the market. So I'm going to put the link below, and if you can donate, great. You know, $5, I don't care how little. You know, I understand people are strapped for money. Every little bit helps. However, if you can't donate, which I know, you know, a lot of people are financially strapped, so I don't, you know, I'm not saying, you know, you must in any way. But if you can't donate, and even if you can, share it for me, if you wouldn't mind, on your Facebooks and all that stuff. If you know, wouldn't mind doing that, I'd really appreciate it. It would help me out a lot because I really need to get out of the situation I'm in, and unfortunately, I just don't see any way around it other than to ask for some help, which I hate doing, but I don't know what else to do. I just really don't know what else to do. I just can't. I can't imagine being here in my situation with everything going on and the mental abuse and my health, and it's just too much. So I gotta get out of here, and I need your help. And like I said, you don't have to donate. You can share it, and that would be a great help because somebody else might see it and have a few dollars to spare, and that would be awesome. But anyway, so that's all. I'll put, I think I said this, I'll put the link in the description. It's GoFundMe, and if you're worried about like safety, GoFundMe is an extremely reputable foundation, and they help people, and it's basically crowdsourcing or crowdfunding. Is it called crowdfunding? Yeah, that's it. And lots of people use it, and it's not unsafe to like use your credit card or anything like that. It's not like a crappy company. They're actually pretty well known. I've used them actually not years ago, was it a year and a half ago or whenever that was, when I had my surgery, to help because obviously I was going to be out of work and not be able to pay my bills for a while. So that actually helped me able to not have to stress out while I was recovering from major surgery when I had cancer. So, you know, it's helped me before, and I was very thankful that it did, and I need a little help again, unfortunately. So, that's the story, folks. Anyway, I'm making a huge mess. Don't we love messes? I don't know how I planned on drying. I don't know how I planned on drying this unless I just sat here like this for the next 20 minutes. I don't know why I did it like that. That was kind of weird. Ugh, I made a mess. That's okay. Well, I'm gonna hit it with the dryer. Hold your ears. Okay, I'm back, and I'm using my phone, don't get mad, but the battery died on the camera, and I have to charge it. I had been using it earlier today, so I'm going to have to get a second battery for it. That's probably the best thing to do, but luckily they're very cheap, so I'm not concerned. I could probably pick up, I think my friend said I can get 2 batteries and a charger and an extra charger for like $10, so I'm not concerned. Oh, I meant to mention that I painted my nails, but of course they're ruined now. I sat and painted my nails the day Desiree came over. Yeah, they look like crud now though. Anyway, I finished painting and before the battery died, and I'm going to pick out, ooh, this is really nice. Let's see, will that match? That would match, wouldn't it? That's really cute paper. It's like a vintagey button. I like that. I might use that. I want to use a couple different papers. This paper pack that I have is like so old. I think I bought this like 8 years ago. It had to have been. Yeah, I bought this like 8 years ago on clearance for $9.97. I don't even think anybody uses that red clearance tag anymore. That's how old this paper is. And I dug it out because I was just like, you know, I haven't used that in so long. I don't know why. It's pretty paper. It's, you know, it's very thin paper. It's almost copy paper weight, which is fine for, you know, projects like this and, you know, depending on what you're doing. Let's see. Let's see what else I can find. That's a cute little kitschy kind of pattern, so I'll put my finger on that for a minute and look through the rest. I might be better off kind of just flipping. That's cute. That's cute. I like that too. It's very cutesy. That's cute. I like that one. I want to dig that one out for sure. I need to start using some of these older paper packs that I got. No sense in holding on to them for a rainy day. Ooh, I really like that one. Will it go? It doesn't go as well as the other ones. Let's make a nice colorful flip book. Shall we? Uh-oh, that one don't want to come out clean. We'll make some funky colors. Ooh, I really like this page. You gotta use this one. It's gotta be my favorite. Let's see real quick so I can be done flipping. That one's nice too, but let's do this one. I like the funky colors. There we go. That should be plenty, plenty, plenty. Ooh, that book is heavy. Holy crap. Okay. So we have got the buttons, the circles, the squares that look like a quilt, and the hexagon. Good shapes, good shapes. Hexagon is the shape of my house. My house is a hexagon-shaped house. And I'm dead serious when I say that. It is literally like this. If you look at it from the top, it is shaped just like that. Nifty, isn't it? That's what I like. I do like that about my house, that it's hexagon-shaped. And everybody that sees my house always loves it because, because it's so unique. It's unfortunate that I can't stay here, but if I had an extra $1,000 a month lying around, maybe. But I don't. Alright, so this is how I measure to cut my pages. I kind of put it where I would want it on the top and the side. And then I mark with a pencil, like as if I was continuing. I mark it here and here. And then what I'm going to do is take every one of these with me when I shoot. I did that wrong because I forgot to leave a margin for that. Well, let me do this. Let me put all of the white sides, the little white lip, all of those together so that I don't do that again. Actually, I'm going to cut it off. It's the best way to deal with that. I don't know why they do that. Just extend the damn paper up. Does anybody else agree with me that they shouldn't bother with this hoo-ha? Just make all the pattern go all the way. That would just make sense, wouldn't it? Okay, so anyway, I'll move that over a second. Let's start again, shall we? I'll just use this piece. And the pencil. And then I will cut. Sticky. that right now. And I just need to cut here. And I may have to adjust some of it depending on the page I'm making. But then I could save these for embellishments or flips or fun stuff. Punching stuff out of them. And I have to decide which I'm going to make my cover. I think I'm going to make this one my cover because I like it so much. But isn't that nice? That would be nice, right? And then I can put like this. And I may have to cut more. I may just do repeated patterns. These are too small, obviously. But I need 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So okay. Now I want to do the circles on the cover. Back to the timer. Hold on. Now, stuff goes in there. It'd be easier if I do it this way. There's just a tiniest sliver of white right there. I'm gonna let's use Aleene's tacky glue. I'm using the clear tacky glue, which apparently I haven't used it in a while. Use an old Joann's gift card to spread my glue. That helps bring it to the edges really well. So there's the cover of my flip book. That's something I don't know about flip books. Are you supposed to like put something specific on the cover? That's a question. That's a thought. We'll put that one on the inside. Nice about wet glue is you can move it around a little bit before it's permanently tacked down. That's the nice thing. It's a little messier, but you have a little playtime with it before things get too tacked down and too permanent. And some of the glue will seep out as I push like that. I better get a baby wipe out. That's what I get for putting the glue so close to the dang edge. Alrighty. I was thinking about putting these two into the center as flips. So if I do that, trying to think if I want the, maybe I'll do that, and then if I want to make the colors, see, so this can be our first flips. So I can do the same colors on these two. Since I didn't use the button ones yet. So on these pages here, I'll do the buttons. This way when they flip in, it'll be the same. I don't have to do it that way. I just want to do it that way. Come on, get down into the nozzle. There you go. This will also, if you take a credit card to get the excess glue to seep out, it'll also prevent buckling of the pages from using a wet glue, or minimalize it anyway. So it's a good idea to do it. And it helps make a good seal between the paper and the surface you're gluing it to. Last one. What? What you talking about, Willis? I'm a little delirious today. That's what I get for not being able to sleep and then deciding, screw it, I'll just stay up and then go to work and then come home and sleep. I really just couldn't sleep. I laid down, I tossed and turned and tossed and turned, and then was like, why am I laying here tossing and turning when I can get up and do work on my crafts? Because I went to bed, or tried to go to bed after this was done gessoing, and I came back to it. Just for you. That's right. Just for you, I came back to it. That's how dedicated I am. I lose sleep for you. Just kidding. I was up anyway. It's easier if I do this. Need a flat surface. pages. My stomach's growling. Guess I'm hungry. Alrighty. What are we gonna put there? Maybe I'll put a piece of lace or something around it, or ribbon. I might have some pretty ribbon. I never get out my ribbon, I don't know why. So that's our flip book so far. Like I said, these 2 pages are gonna come in and meet in the middle. But I'm gonna let that dry a little longer before I do that. We can, however, work on the spine. Trying to think of what ribbon I have. Let's see. Well, I'm going to shut off the camera and I'm going to go look for some ribbon or something I could put around here. So I'll be back after these messages. Okay, so I'm back. All of it is dry. All the glue's dry. And actually it's been a few days, or actually, no, 24 hours, not a few days. 24 hours, so it's really dry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a part 2 because this video is quite long. So I guess I'm going to go and look for a part 2 coming up within a couple days. So yeah, so make sure you do what you love and love what you do and be nice to people, and I will see you in a day or two. Actually, I have another video that I'm going to be putting up, so really you'll see me soon. Bye.